So, how I would love to start this with you is, this podcast for me is the Ex Wives Lounge, but I call it the home of the Exes because everyone has an ex.
Hmm.
And I think it's all about when you're coming out of a serious relationship, focusing on your energy and tapping back into who you are and making sure that moving forward you make better choices. So, in regards to choosing chemistry over realizing that, like you say, is a trauma bond, can you explain that?
Chemistry for most people is a mutual experience of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
where they feel like this person is approving of their mask, their exterior. So most people aren't real. They aren't actually being themselves. Everyone's afraid of being naked in this world, sadly.
Right.
So when we get approval for our mask, which is the way we look and what we do in the world, and someone approves us for that, that's what we see as chemistry. It's a physical exchange of attraction. When we actually forgive, we fail to see genuine compatibility.
Right.
So this is what you see people jump straight into, sex quickly or things like that. It's because they go mainly off physical attraction and flirtation and chemistry versus long-term compatibility. So
Mm.
there's chemistry and there's flirtation, there's a vibration of lust and attraction, and then there's actual compatibility, which is are you able to meet this person's needs?
Right.
Do you have a similar vision in the future? Do you have similar values? That's a whole different game, and that
Right.
requires some real adulthood, some adult checks. So it's hard to go there. It's hard going to a place of genuine long-term compatibility because that requires real work. That requires sacrifice. That requires facing your wounds. Just staying at the surface of attraction and chemistry is an easy game. The harder game is actually doing what it takes to be a worthy mate for long term.
Right. Yeah. I've seen, personally speaking, is men tend to go for something that's aesthetically pleasing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think women sometimes go for something that is maybe more towards financial.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they're dating for a while and they get wrapped up in the lust or the look of what the relationship looks like, then they realize they have absolutely no compatibility on a deep level.
Yeah, that's the modern game. Sadly, that's
Yes.
that's 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 a modern game we're playing. I used to play it, so I get it. But that's the sad reality. Because again, doing the deeper stuff is hard.
Right.
It's not fun facing your limitations. It's not fun facing your trauma. It's not fun facing your wounds. But that's required to what's required to create a long term compatible experience.
Right. Why do you think women versus men? I believe that men, when they come out of a serious relationship, it seems like they're looking for instant gratification, whereas women are automatically looking for the next serious relationship. Women, to me, in my opinion, tend to not want to just stay single. They almost have this codependency factor. So
Mm-hmm.
when a woman's coming out of a long term relationship or a long term marriage, what would your advice be to somebody like that in regards to doing the work to make sure that they make better choices moving forward?
So women at their core tend to collapse into men they're seeing. And there's some wisdom to that and some not so good wisdom.
Right.
So when you kind of allow a really good man, strong man to kind of lead the way and provide for you and you're protected, it's a nice feeling, but ill attributed can be a horrible experience. But so
Mm.
women at their core do want the experience of being cared for, provided, protected for. That's innate in them. But then they
Right.
attribute it to the wrong person, and they're left alone. Right? They projected all their power to this man. They projected all their everything to this man for him to suck off of, basically. So
Right.
she's then left with the pieces, and then she has to figure. There's two choices: either I actually become empowered and I become this frequency of giving myself everything, which is hard. That's hard work. 'Cause that means she has to step into that power. She has to step into that role. That's a difficult experience. Or she goes to the next man and collapses to the next man and allows him to do everything. That's the easier choice. So for women to find their center beyond just collapsing into man after man, they have to give themselves what they've been needing other men to give them momentarily, right? Because it's a
Right.
whole different experience of a woman who's, my wife she takes a more traditional role in our marriage, but she came from a place of fullness. She was full already alone, and it was different. She wasn't going through that experience out of lack and need. It was
Right.
a choice.
Right.
So, it's all about women finding their center again after they've given it away for so long, and then
What's
connecting
your
with that
belief?
power.
What's your belief on attachment styles?
In what regard?
Do you think that that actually does play into the fact of dating and possibly choosing the wrong partner?
Yeah, it's complicated. It's not as rudimentary and simple as people understand it to be.
Right.
It's what I see it. It's a blame game.
Mm,
It's people with anxious attachment. I'm one of those that you're quick to blame everything and avoid it. That it's all the avoidance fault, and then it's just a blame game to avoid why you're so needy in the first place. And the avoidant person is playing the blame game with the anxious attached person, saying they were so needy and so anxious, but then the avoidant has to face why couldn't I be needed? So there's truth to it, but there's too much blame game on either side. I see it play out. It's played out for me. It's still it's a game in this dimension.
right.
But instead of playing the blame game, it has to be a mirror to heal. For me, because I tend to veer towards anxious attachment, what's important for me is that when I feel like I have to, when she's disapproving of me or in a bad mood or angry at me, I
Right.
have a choice to run after her and chase her, or I have a choice to step into my center, strengthen myself, be regulated,
Hmm.
and then let her choose what she does. And that's a whole different experience. That's what should happen, right? I shouldn't. No one should be sprinting after someone for their own completeness.
Right.
So that's the gift of anxious attachment, is that we can actually have time to realize that we've been the one we've been looking for. We can create our own center within us.
What made you ultimately want to become a healer and guide? Is this your own personal experience, childhood, closeness with your mom? I know a little snippet that you put about your mom. It seems like you have the utmost respect for women, which is a breath of fresh air, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on and have the male perspective on. But what ultimately made you want to go into this part of life?
A lot of pain. I mean, that's the answer is a lot of pain. And when you've been through a lot of pain, you overcome it.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful gift because now you have what it takes to make someone else not feel that pain.
Right.
So that all of us healers out there have had arduous journeys because that arduous journey is what it takes for us to become a teacher and to help people. So you know, out of pain comes purpose if done
Yes.
correctly. So what greater way than to deal with your pain than to overcome it and then help people along the way. So it's just out of service, I guess. It's I when I see someone deeply suffering and I know I've been there. I know from my religious perspective, I believe everyone is me. We're all
Right.
one
Right.
family. So if I see a me out there who's hurting, then I want to do what I can to help, and they have a choice to listen or not. But it's out of love, I guess, out of service, just trying to help other people and to make use of everything I've experienced in my life.
Well, it definitely shows, and I appreciate you being on today because I think your voice as a male perspective is really important. And I almost hope that there's more men that step into this part of their being and side of their power the way you have. It's very
Thank you.
admirable.
It's coming. The men are coming.
I feel the movement.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe I'm a little biased to think that you almost take somewhat the side of the women. Some of the things that you say, the advice that you give
Hmm.
is more geared towards like, hey men, you need to wake up and these are the things you need to start paying attention to. Not that you let the woman off the hook by any means,
Hmm.
but most of the things that I see that I've read when I've studied your work is more of trying to open up the man's eyes and mind to thinking from her perspective a little bit more than himself. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right, but that's been my experience. I do. I mean, call me traditional. I do believe men are leaders. I do believe we should lead. And from why I say that is that what I've experienced is that when I'm good in my center, when I feel happy, when I'm in a state of love and coherence, she's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my experience. When I'm in fear, when I'm in lack, women feel everything. They feel everything.
Yes.
You're not saying they feel everything. So they know when you're afraid. They know when you lost your center. They know when you're collapsing. They know when you got into boy mode. They know when you need mommy. And whenever I'm in that mode, every single time the woman takes it, it's like whoa. It's a harsh experience. Like
Right.
female safety is a somatic game. It's when I'm centered, I'm good. When I'm in my power, she's good. The minute I'm lacking, fearful, needy, and running after her and getting aggressive, she's unsafe. So I do believe safety follows the male nervous system. If the man's regulated, the man's calm, the man's centered, she's usually good because women have are feeling creatures. So she has moments where she's angry, she wants to express it. If he's always following her emotions and there's there's no structure to the river,
Correct.
but if he's in his center, he's in his power, he's not taking her emotions personally. She can express herself freely, and he's there. He's supportive. He's providing the structure. So I say it's on men because when I have male friends or men I'm helping, the first thing they say is they blame the woman. The woman this, the woman that. She did this. She's not having sex, whatever it may be. I'm like, she's reflecting you.
Yes.
She's reflecting you. I can honestly tell you that my experience is that she's reflecting you. Yes, there are cases where women are seriously damaged or wounded. That's his problem too because he chose her. So
Right.
it's that's my perspective because it has been that my experience that when I see truly grounded, healed men, their woman's good. It's weird. It just tends to work out that way. And a man's dysregulated, aggressive, fearful, angry, the woman's a mess. You can see in her face is she's
It's
stressed
total
out.
chaos.
So I do believe men should lead the way that way. It's a gift we give the feminine. The gift the masculine gives the feminine is safety, and that safety is what creates her emotional experience.
Right.
So that's the man's job.
No, I totally agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Um, would you agree too that in today's dating world, I mean, as a guide, what is your opinion, honestly, brutally honestly, on all these dating apps and all the instant gratification and all the swiping and thinking that there's something bigger and better? And I just I feel a sense and a lack of empathy in the world. I feel a sense of the bigger better syndrome. Um, what's your take on today's dating world?
We're all afraid of love deep down in this dimension. It's a weird thing. Deep down, we're all afraid of love, and that's the truth. Um, and no one really wants to face that. So they want to constantly maintain a surface level connection and surface level connections to scratch the itch without diving into the whole thing. So diving into love, diving in, I mean diving in, being
Right.
naked in there, wholehearted, experiencing it. That's some real.
Mm-hmm.
And deep down, everyone's terrified of the experience
Mm-hmm.
because it means you really have to face all your terror, all your childhood trauma. But that's what we came here to experience. That's what we came here to heal. So modern dating is an excellent, perfect way for people to avoid that work because they constantly maintain constant surface level connections where they don't have to face that stuff, right? Because if you're an attractive person on attractive woman or attractive guy, you open up an Instagram, you quickly have access to the whole world. You open
Right.
up a dating app, you're an attractive person on there, you have access to everyone.
Right.
Therefore, it's a constant way of scratching the itch of intimacy without actually having to face yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So today's dating world is a perpetual avoidance tactic to facing our own deep shame, deep wounds, and remain in the area of fun.
Yes.
Um, and that's why I do have an issue with not the shame, but the heightened level of promiscuity, not of like not shaming it or judging, but it's a reflection of this, is that people just want to scratch the itch of intimacy without actually experiencing it. So they constantly want to scratch the itch of actual experiencing what connection without having to go all the way.
Right.
So we're just people are stuck in that surface, stuck in surface level connections because they're scratching the itch of what they actually want deep down, which is real love.
You think it's a avoidance of vulnerability? People not
Yeah,
knowing, not wanting to be vulnerable?
yeah, and it's that for sure, and it's people like for instance, when I got married, um, I wasn't perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I still had many things I had to heal,
Of course.
and each person selfishly believes that the person they love will love that too.
Right.
I don't believe that. I especially for men, right? Because it's a little different for men. For me, I thought that, and I realized if I keep doing these things, I'm going to push her away.
Right.
So what it meant is that yes, being vulnerable is important, but also you have to heal. Like
Yes.
if you're in a genuine, real, loving relationship where safety is a priority, you can't bring your to the table constantly. It's a
Right.
very different experience for a man to say, "Hey, I'm moving through this. This is what's happening," versus like pushing fear. You have to do this, to do that, like controlling you because they don't want to face that. So it's a combination of avoiding vulnerability, but also not wanting to do the work it takes to become a safe person. That's some hard that takes courage and brave and